Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the almightyzentaco, and today we're going to be learning how to make the King Slime from the Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior series in Inkscape. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is click on this Create Circles, Ellipses, and Arcs tool. You can also press F5. And we are going to drag out a rough, kind of squished up circle. Alright, so let's go to Fill and Stroke and make sure it's at 100% opacity. It is. It has a black outline. If yours does not have one, hold in Shift and select the darkest black. We're going to up the stroke a bit, so put the mouse over the stroke number and use the scroll bar to make that a tad bit thicker. Okay, now we need to change the body color of this. It needs to be a blue. So we're going to click on some blues till we find a good one. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to turn this from an object to a path. The difference between an object and a path is if we press F2, this doesn't really have nodes. It has a few nodes, but they are controlled different than if it were an object, or a path rather. So this is a circle object right now, and we want this to be a path. So we're going to press Control, Shift, and C, and now it gave us more nodes. So now we can control this a little more in depth. I'm going to drag this up a tad because that's how the slime looks. Then I'm going to squish the whole thing down a bit. Press F2 again to get the node tool up. I'm going to hold in Control so that it keeps my dragging on a plane. And I am going to drag this bottom one up to flatten the bottom. Actually, you know, I think this has too many nodes. I'm going to delete these nodes on the sides just to make this smoother. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I'm going to shift this up a bit. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, so the slime has two little beady eyes, so I'm going to grab the circle tool, hold Control and Shift, and drag out a circle. This will make the circle completely circular instead of an oval. I'm going to select white for my color. I'm going to Control D to create another object copy of what is currently selected, which is the circle. I'm going to Shift Control and drag downward. That will resize this perfectly while keeping it centered. He has pretty beady eyes. We'll drop that there. I'm going to use black for the fill. Select the whole thing. Press G. And that will make it grouped. Actually, as you see here, we're going to go to Object Ungroup. Press F2. This is not 100%. Okay, so if you notice that you have a issue where you've made your circle into a chunk like this, you pulled a section out or a segment, select the circle tool and go over here to where it says make the shape a whole ellipse, not an arc or segment. Click that, fixes the problem. Alright, we're going to select everything, Control G, now it's one object. His eye should be right about here, but it's way smaller, so we're going to shrink that down by holding in Shift and Control, and I'm going to put it right about there. I'm also going to hold in Shift and select the black to create an outline, which I know there is one, but because it was grouped, there was no outline set for the group. We are going to scroll up the outline size. Now this will outline everything in the group, not just the outside of the eye, but since the inside is a black pupil, it won't matter. I just needed a thicker outline for that eyeball. Control D to make another eyeball. Here we go, we're going to group these together. Okay, so the slime has a goofy little smile, like so. I'm going to make this, though, out of the Bezier tool. So I'm just going to make a little box out of the Bezier tool, a little rectangle. Okay, so now we need to resize this. We're going to grab, we're not going to resize, sorry, we're going to morph it. We're going to grab the bottom with by pressing F2 to get the node tool. We're going to grab the bottom of this and pull it down. And we're going to grab the top and pull it down. And we're going to tweak these little nodes a bit to get the shape we want. Okay, so we want this to be cut out of the blue blob shape. So we're going to select both the mouth and the blob. We're going to hold in Shift to select the blob as well. We're going to click on Object. Sorry, we're going to click on Path, and we're going to go to Difference. Now what that did was that cut out the that shape out of the blob. So now we're going to create a tongue. We're going to make it red. It's just an oval. It needs to have some shading though. We're going to Control D to make a copy of it. Control D again. We're going to drag that down. Select these both. We're going to go to Path Difference. Now we're going to turn this entirely black and get rid of the outline by holding Shift and selecting None. That'll kill the outline. We're going to drop this on top. We're going to go to the Fill and Stroke options. We are going to drop the opacity on that, and we're going to up the blur. Okay, that's pretty good. We're going to grab both these. We're going to put this about where his tongue should be, and we are going to click on the lower selection, the bottom tool, putting it into the back of his mouth. Now the back of his mouth needs to be black, so we're going to do that this way. We're going to just grab the rectangle tool. We're going to bring the opacity up to 100% if it is not already there. Now selecting this rectangle we have made, we're going to bring it to the back. So we're going to select everything we've done and group it. So now it's one big group. Actually, we're going to undo that, sorry. We are going to need another copy of this blob, so we're going to Control D it. Alright, so now we're going to use this create outline here to make the shade for the blob. So we're going to use this as our basic. We're going to drag off another one with Control D. Control D again, and I'm going to shrink this down just a tad. Bring it down to about there. Now, the slime actually has a slight white outline. So we're going to do this first. We're going to select everything, center it like that, select them both, Path Difference. We do not want this in the middle, so we're going to select the Erase tool, and we are going to erase what's here in the center. Okay, this we're going to turn black first, just so we can see it. And I'm going to kill the outline, just like we did before. Going to drag this perfectly over. Wait, that's the wrong one. We're going to drag this over our dude. And then we're going to change the color to white. We're going to align and distribute and center it. Oops, that was to the page. Let's undo that. We're going to select Last Selected, grab these, and we're going to center it horizontally and center it vertically. We're going to resize it just a tad down so it's not eating into the black outline. Under Fill and Stroke, we're going to give it a slight blur and drop the opacity a bit. Okay, going to group that. We're going to make another copy of this twice again, pulling this up, shrinking it down a bit. Select them both. Go to Path Difference. Again, we're going to need to delete what's in the middle. So use the eraser tool and just go hog wild on it. Alright, so once that's done, and we just have the bottom, pressing F1 to select, making it black, killing the outline. This is going to be our shadow underneath. Dropping the opacity on it. It's going to need some blur, like so. Okay, that's not too bad. We're grabbing everything and we're going to group it. Now we need to give him some dimples. So we're going to do that this way. We're going to grab the Bezier tool. We're going to start here and we're going to make a line with a point, click, line with a point, double click. Okay, so now we need to bring the opacity up to 100%. We need to shift click to give it a black outline, and then we're going to use the eyedrop tool to make the body the same color. Pressing F2 to get the nodes, select this node in the corner, Shift S is going to smooth that node out. Now this node is going to need to be shaped a bit. So we're going to use the node tools to make it a nice oval shape. We're going to click and readjust the angle. Pretty good. Control D to copy, H to flip it horizontally, and place this one over there. Alright, so let's give this guy a tad bit of shading on his dimples. So we're going to do that this way. We're going to use the circle tool. We're just going to drag up a circle like so. I'm going to pull that down a bit. Make it straight black. Make it blurry. And make it semi-transparent. Copy it. Throw it over here. Copy it. Oops. Copy it. Bring it to the top. Make it white. Shrink it down. Bring it to the top. Copy and throw it over here as well. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's group these together though. We might need to move them. And since it is all one thing, we are going to group it like so. Okay, so we need some shinies on here a bit. So let's make a circle here. Turn the outline white. We're going to copy this. We're going to shrink it down a bit. Make a circle there. Grab the oval tool. Make a nice oval. Control-Shift-C. We're turning it into a path. Grab both these nodes and drag them down. Double click so that we can tilt it. Mess with the nodes to get the curve we want. Right about there should be good. Okay, we're going to need to make this a bit blurry. Same with these. Though we want these to be brighter, so we're going to up the opacity. And we're going to drag these to the center here. Now we're going to work on the crown. So to do that, we are going to use the Bezier tool. Going to just make a little headband shaped thing. Needs to be fully opaque, and we're going to give it a black outline. Okay, now I need to find a sort of a gold color. I'm going to press F2 to use the node tool. We're going to reshape this a bit, drag this up so it has a slight curve. Going to tilt this in. I'm going to try making it smooth and pulling it down to see if that makes it any better. Yeah, I do like that. So I'm going to smooth these out with the Shift S, and I'm going to make sure that the nodes aren't too nuts. It doesn't have to be perfect. People really won't notice too many irregularities. Okay, now we need some circles. I'm going to make copies of this with Control D. I believe there are 5 of them. Alright, so now I'm going to use the Bezier tool. I'm just going to create a line at the bottom, drag up to this, and we are going to connect all of these just like the Burger King crown. I think that's what this looks like. Then we're going to need to smooth out these nodes. We don't want these to be sharp, jutting lines like this. Okay, so pressing F2 to get the proper tool. Clicked on the nodes, and we're going to press Control S to get the shape we want. Let's drag it to the back. Actually, we'll bring it up one. Okay, so it needs some work, as you see here. We need to reshape this a bit. And that's pretty common in Inkscape. Inkscape is fantastic for editing. You don't really have to get things done exactly right the first time. You have so much power to edit that is really where the strong suit of this program comes from. Also, it makes really clean, really attractive art. Alright, so now we're going to actually unify these. So we can only do this one object at a time. So we're going to select the circle, hold Shift and select the crown. Go to Object, Path Union. We're going to do that for all these. Before we do the last one, we are going to Control D to get an extra copy of it. Alright, unify these objects again. Make another copy. Drag it up. We want... That's not quite right. There. offset them a bit like that, select them both, go to path difference, make this into a black crescent, kill the outline, and drop the opacity to about 30. We're going to use this as a shadow at the bottom of all of our little circles, like so, just to create some depth within this crown. Okay, group this together, grab the whole thing and press Ctrl G. Now we need to make an oval. So make an oval. Bring the opacity up. Make the inside white and the outside black for now. It should be about yay big. And I think the outline needs to be just a tad bigger. We want the outlines to roughly match each other. Yeah, that's about what it looks like. We're going to leave this here as an extra. It's good to keep extra pieces around. Okay, this needs to be some kind of green. Unfortunately, I am colorblind, so this might not look right. I think that's about right. Okay, so this thing has stripes on it. So we're going to go ahead and use the Bezier tool to make some stripes. Make a copy of that and drag it off. Select them both, go to path, select difference. Press H to get this flipped horizontally. Put it about yay there. Select both, path, difference. Okay, make another copy of this sphere. Drag it over top, drop it in the middle. Select them both, go to align and distribute, and center them. Okay, so this, select the white oval, and we need to make it kind of like a purple. Okay, we're going to give this some shadow, and to do that, we're going to use the oval we created previously. So make a new one, make another new one, drag it up, select them both, path difference, make it all black. Overlap. Control D, we want a copy of that. Go to fill and stroke, up the blur, opacity's fine. I might drag it up a bit. Nah, it's fine. Okay, we're gonna flip this vertically, up the blur. Actually, put it in position first. At the top, up the blur, make it white. Okay, select them both, group them, drag them to this object. Select that object, bring it to the top, select everything, and then select path, clip, set. And that white's kind of overlapping our outline, so we're going to tweak this a bit and get it into position so that it's not cutting into our black outline. That looks pretty good. Grab it all, Control G. We got one object. Select it. Select the object and select lower selection to bottom. Okay, now we just need a little doohickey at the top of his head, and he's finished. We're done with this guy. We can delete that. Okay, so it's just similar to what's on the bottom. Using the Bezier tool, we are going to create this thing at the top. Using the eyedrop tool, I'm going to get the same color as the crown. I'm going to add a black outline with shift. I'm going to pull down the outline a tad. F2 to get the nodes. Okay, now it has a circle at the top. We're going to bring that to the very back. Press F1 to make sure it's what's selected. Lower selection to the back. And then we have this sort of pointy thing at the top. Let's smooth this out at the top, because it's not completely pointy. and we'll bring it in. Gonna drop the outline a tad. Okay, so selecting this thing at the top, we'll bring it to the bottom. Also select the little oval, go to Path Union, and yeah, Control G to select it all and group it. And there you go. That is our King Slime from Dragon Quest. So we could have spent more time on shading and stuff. I mean, I could have shaded this and other parts of the crown, but I didn't want to make this a 30-minute video, so it might already be a 30-minute video. But there you go, guys. That's how, using Inkscape, you can make a cool slime character from Dragon Quest. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. See you next time.